How you guys doing? It's 514 Mystic from BookieBullies.com, and this is breaking down the books. Yesterday, thought it was gonna be a pretty bad day, but ended up being, balanced. 5 of 11, not so bad. Gave a few picks. Went 1 of 1 in football. Went 1 of 2 in basketball, and had a balanced day in hockey. 3 out of the rest. And if you guys want to know how that went, you could always go and check me out at 514 Mystic on Twitter. Link is in the description. Gonna give you the rundown for today. Short show. It's Friday, and you know, only 2 games in hockey, maybe 8 games in basketball. We're gonna get right into it. Starting with the Devils versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Devils underdog on the road versus the Penguins. Penguins are on the back-to-back. They ended up losing yesterday to the Islanders. We gave them out. They lost. That was one of the L's. One of the 6 losses that we had on the night. Today they're favored again, paying 74 cents on your buck. 6.0 is the total, paying 2 to 1 on the under. So it's a handsome payout for the under if you're interested in that. You got Mackenzie Blackwood at net versus Tristan Jarry. Tristan Jarry doesn't have a bad goal against average, right under 2 a game. He's only played 5, so his sample size is small. But 2 a game is really not bad in 5 starts. And Mackenzie Blackwood, who's 2.95 goal against average, but he played a good bit of games. He's 7-5-3, 89% save percentage, so not so good. But he has a shutout on his belt. I think if anything, I don't really like any plays in hockey today, but I think if anything, the under might be the way to go in this game. Cause yeah, they're backup goalies, and that's why the total is so low. But honestly, I think the under is the way to go. If you could buy the hook and buy the 6.5, it might be ideal. But I like the under 6.0 in this game for this game to kind of stay low. I don't really like the over as much, and I don't like a side because Pittsburgh, like, yeah, they should win. They should. But Jersey's the more rested team, and they have the more, like, I guess you could say the more seasoned goalie because he's played more games this season. And the guy has a shutout under his belt, so, you got to give him some kind of credit, right? The totals between these two teams have pretty much gone over at the exception of the last time they seen each other. So every time they see each other, this game goes over. But the last time they saw each other, which was uh, last week, game went under. Pittsburgh 4-11 at the spread, 6-3 straight up at home overall. Under is hit in 13 of the last 19 games, so take it with a grain of salt that it typically goes over. Typical is not what we're exactly looking for here. Jersey's 4-1 straight up when playing on the road against Pittsburgh. That's a number to look out for. They're also 4-2 on the road in their last 6 games and 4-2 at the spread in their last 6 games, keeping the game under in all 4 of those games. I like the under in this game more than anything else. Next, got the Rangers and the Senators. Now, obviously, the Senators are, they gathered up 2 games in a row, and aside from the 2 games they have in a row, they also had a pretty good. They had a pretty good outing in their last 10 games. So they're pretty. In the last 11, they're 7-3 right now. Really. Sorry, in their last 11, they're 8 and 7 and yeah, no, in their last 10, they're 7-4, 7-3. So not bad. 7-4. My goodness, in their last 3. So they look really, really good right now. 7-4 in their last few games, and they're coming off of a big win over the Montreal Canadiens, in which they only scored 1 goal in regulation, 1 goal in overtime. So it wasn't mightily impressive, but it was a win nonetheless. Which team had the more impressive victory now is the question because New York just came off of a big win of their own when they played versus Washington. Washington is the team that basically is leading the league in points and killing shit right now. And they almost shut them out. They ended up winning that game 3-1, if not 4-1. Henrik Lundqvist was the man at net, and he held it down for them. And their defense was actually really, really good that day. Mind you, they didn't have Nicholas Backstrom, so that's kind of important. But in the same time, I thought their win was a little bit more impressive than Ottawa's. I think Ottawa gets their win streak snapped today, and I think that the Rangers come out with the victory. I also think this game goes over, but I'm gonna go with the Rangers as the underdogs in this game today. Although I don't like any plays overall in hockey, I would have rather skip it out altogether. But I see some value in these 2 picks. And if you want to go the other side, like I said, 7-4 in the last 11 games speaks volumes. They're really playing well. Ottawa is. You want to bet on them? You're free to do so. They beat in the Rangers. They beat the Rangers the last time they seen each other, which was this season in a 6-2 blowout. Rangers beat them the last time they seen each other. So basically, what ends up happening between these two teams seems like they trade victories. And if it's trending in the direction that I believe it's going to trend, New York wins this game. Ottawa's 4-1 at the spread in the last five, 4-1 overall in their last five. Like I mentioned, 7-4 in their last 11. The unders hit in 4 of the last 5 games, and they're actually 5-1 straight up on at home in their last 6 games. Um, Rangers on their end, not very good on the road. They're 6-13 in their last 19 on the road, which basically covers all the games this season, but not all the it covers all the games this season, but not all the road games because they've played about 22 games so far. So it doesn't cover all the games, but it does cover all the road games and going back to last season. The under has hit in 4 of the last 5 games when playing Ottawa, like I said, but they seem to be trading victories. They only won one in Ottawa in the last 9 meetings. So those are your numbers for that game. Take it with a grain of salt. We got Henrik Lundqvist at net, and you also have Anders Nielsen, who's supposed to be starting. If Anders Nielsen starts, yeah, I'm gonna be in for a long night betting on New York. So I'm willing to rock with that. But like I said, take it with a grain of salt. We're gonna get right into the association. Try to keep this bad boy short. Got the Atlanta Hawks versus the Detroit Pistons. It should be easy money that the Pistons should rip on Atlanta, but don't take it for granted that this might not happen. Totals at 225.5. I like that more than anything else in this game. And I think I'm going to make it first official play. And yeah, I like that pick more than I like the spread. Detroit hasn't been overly impressive in my opinion. No offense to them, but they just haven't been. In their defense, Blake Griffin is injured, so is Derrick Rose, and they're just coming off of injuries and they're trying to play better. But it takes time sometimes. It does take time sometimes. You have to give them a reestablishment. They have to get readapted. It's reevaluations of their current roles on the team. Remember, Derrick Rose is new to this Pistons team, so you have to get used to having him in the lineup. It seems like both of them are going to be playing. I don't have a play outside of the total, which is the over. The over seems like it's been hitting a little bit for Detroit, but let's just check to make sure. Atlanta 7-7 at the total, so they're right in the middle of the pack. And Detroit is 8-6 to the over, but I think that changes today. I like the under in this game. Next, we got the Charlotte Hornets versus the Wizards. 235 is the total. Wizards 6.0 favorite. I don't like playing this game at all outside of the over, but Charlotte doesn't necessarily go over themselves. Charlotte is not that kind of team. They don't. I don't know how they're gonna rack up firepower. You see, the thing with Washington is that they are like the highest scoring team in the league. They basically score about 130 points a game, but they also give up about 130 points in the league. 7-4-1 to the over on the season is Washington, but they're playing Charlotte. Charlotte is in the middle of the pack, 7-8 at the over, and I'm not sure that Charlotte could generate that much offense, and I'm not going to bet the under because Washington is probably one of the top teams in the league. They are rather the top team in the league at going under, right under Dallas. So I'm not gonna no play in this game. Next we got the Kings versus Brooklyn. Uh, Kings still without. I'm sorry, Brooklyn still without Kyrie Irving. Kings still without Swipe the Fox. Kings are underdog in this game. I like the Kings money line. I don't like any East team, whether they're up, down, left, right. I don't like any East team beating any West team on any given night, especially when they're out of their superstar. I like the Kings money line. I shouldn't pick a play in this game because they're kind of both trending in the wrong direction. But I like the Kings money line. That 213 seems like a little low because Brooklyn doesn't really play too much defense, but I rather just play it safe and go with the Kings. Next, we got the Lakers and OKC. Lakers favored 4.0, totals at 210. That total went over the last time. Gave you guys the under in that game and ended up failing. That game went over. The Lakers supposed to be some great defense. OKC is a slow-paced team, and somehow, some way, they found a way to go over, and Lakers did not cover. But that spread was about 10 points, if I remember correctly. It might have been 11 because they were on a back-to-back. after the Clippers game. Give me Lakers minus 4.0 to handle business tonight, barring any injury. It seems like everybody's supposed to be playing. That's what it's looking like to me. Anthony Davis is probably gonna play, so they have him as probable, and that's pretty much the same. Avery Bradley's still out, so same injuries all around. I like the Lakers to cover whether Anthony Davis plays or not. So 4.0 seems like reasonable money. Doesn't necessarily mean easy money because OKC gives everybody a hard time, but reasonable money on that game. Miami versus Chicago. Miami's favorite 4.5. Kind of it's kind of low for a team that covers spreads left and right. Chicago also a hard team to gauge because they give everybody a hard time. Chicago been fighting night in night out. It should be easy money, but on Friday nights, Fridays are crazy, man. I don't know what it is about sports. I don't know what it is about sports betting, but on Friday, it's a hard day to pick favorites because it's like I don't know what happens. It's like the total opposite ends up happening. If you guys follow me last week Friday, I gave out 12 picks and I only hit one which was a hockey pick, obviously because I've been doing what I do in hockey. But out of 12 picks, I only hit one last Friday. And before I gave out those picks, I said be careful with every single one of the picks I'm giving because somehow, some way, Friday nights ends up being a night that things just don't go according to plan. Like you know what I mean? Like the numbers will tell you something, and then it's really Freaky Friday. I swear. So you got to be careful when you're betting on these things. Miami is the best team in the league at the spread right now. They're 10-2-1. Chicago is let's see, they're not even in the conversation, are they? They're in the middle of the pack. No, are they at the top? I can't find them anywhere. They're in the middle of the pack, 7-8 at the spread. But somehow, some way, 4.5 is the total. This Miami team is a gritty team. They hit threes, they play defense, and they play the right way. They pass the ball. Like they're sneaky good. The Miami Heats are. Maybe not so sneaky anymore, but they're sneaky good. The Miami Heats are. I think they're the real deal. Give me Miami minus 4.5. Hopefully they don't lose flat out. I might sprinkle a little change, just a little salt on Chicago because I mean Fridays are crazy, man. So maybe I'll sprinkle a little salt on Chicago to kind of hedge my bet. But I like Miami to cover here with flying colors. Next, we got the Spurs and the Sixers. Sixers should really blow these guys out. It shouldn't be any question, but Sixers don't cover any spreads whatsoever. Spurs go over every chance they get. I like the over 220.5 in this game. No other play. Spurs top team in the league at going over. Philly is in the bottom of the league when it comes to covering spreads. Believe it or not. I mean, you don't have to believe me, but it's just what it is. Off the top of my head, I don't have to go over the numbers for me to notice. Now, you want me to go over the numbers? 6, 7, and 1 at the spread. 6, 7, and 1. So they've covered less than they've covered less spreads than they've actually than they've won. That's it. Point final. Next, we got Dallas versus Cleveland. And again, going back to that Philly versus Spurs game, Spurs need a W. So they're going to be playing hard every single chance they get. I don't think Popovich is getting fired or anything like that because this version of the Spurs is pretty much the worst, and he's going to have to find a way to generate Ws. But I think they're going to be playing hard every night on a 7-game losing streak. It's unheard of for Popovich, so I'm expecting anything to happen here. I would even go as far as putting the Spurs to cover that spread, but I like my money a little bit too much than to make that decision. I'd rather go with the over. Next, Cleveland, Dallas. Dallas favorite 9.5. Looking like everybody's playing Tristan Thompson, including Kevin Love. Cleveland, another team, hard team, man. They come through guns blazing every single time. I don't like a play in this game. I don't think that they're that good at the spread. Dallas is 9.5 is double digits. They're gonna be out of. They have an injury on their team. It's shit. Is it Finney Smith? They got an injury on their team right now. Let's check. Seth Curry. Seth Curry's ill. Seth, brother of Steph Curry, he's questionable, which I feel means he's probably not gonna play. Uh, and Dallas 7-7 on the season, no pun intended, with number 77 being Luka Doncic. 7-7 at the spread. I don't like them numbers versus a Cavs team who are able to be very, very tough. Dallas also one of the top over teams in the league. Give me the over 222.0 and I'll live with the results. Next, Boston versus Denver. I like Boston to cover the spread. I don't like Boston in general, but I like Boston to cover the spread because Denver hasn't been ultimately extremely or anywhere near a perfect team. They've been good and acceptable, but they haven't really been what they've been expected to be this season. I don't think they have like the most outstanding home record at the spread, and Boston has a very good spread record on top of being one of the top teams in the league. Give me Boston to cover that 5.5. Only Gordon Hayward seems to be injured right now. It doesn't look like anybody else is out. Just to confirm, yeah, it doesn't look like anybody else is out tonight. Simply Gordon Hayward, no rest, no nothing. If any of that changes, obviously you go the other way. But I like Boston to cover here. I even like Boston to win. Might sprinkle a little bit of money on that, but I'm not gonna go that far. I don't even like Boston, so I'm not gonna bet on them and then lose my money and be sad. So I'd much rather go with the spread and even a little bit of change on the money line. Next we got Utah versus Warriors. 16-point favorites. I'm staying away completely from this game. I don't like it. Next, we got the Houston Rockets versus the Clippers. Big game, money game. This is going to be the game of the night. 10 o'clock start. 10 or 10:30? 10:30, for a change. Usually Friday nights, 10 o'clock is the last game. Even 9 sometimes. But 10:30 start. Clippers. Clippers are 5-point favorites. Last time they seen each other, um, Houston ended up winning. Kawhi Leonard was by himself. There was no Paul George. There was no Eric Gordon. If I'm not mistaken, Patrick Beverly probably didn't. Patrick Beverly did play in that game. That's when Russell Westbrook said that he don't guard nobody. He just pretending. He just, he got y'all fooled. Today, Patrick Beverly is gonna show you guys why you're not fooled. Give me the Clippers -5. You can sprinkle a little change to hedge your bet on the Houston Rockets, but I like the Clippers to cover this spread. Maybe even shut them shits down and put the under in this game. But their defense hasn't really been clamped down or anything like that. So but I kind of like that. Let's see where the total is at, which is the last game. So we could I could afford maybe about a minute or so before. I'm trying to keep this show under 20 minutes, so I could afford a minute to check to see if the total is worth it or not. So Houston, where is Houston at? Houston on the under is the third best team on the under. They're 10-5, 15 games played, and they're 10 of them went under. Clippers. Clippers are 10-5 to the under. Give me Clippers at the spread and give me the under 226.5. So, before I go ahead, I'd like you guys to go ahead and smash the like button down low, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell in that corner. And I'm going to give you guys a Bookie Bullies rundown. So, starting from the top, in the NHL, we got the under 6.0 in the Pittsburgh versus Devils game. We got the Rangers money line to be. Oh, shit. Something just changed in that Rangers game. So the Rangers are no longer underdogs. It looks like they're paying even money. I'm no longer giving you guys the Rangers at all. I only have one play in the hockey game, and it is the under in the Pittsburgh versus New Jersey. One play in hockey. No more New York. Next, we got the NBA, where we got the under 225.5 Atlanta versus Detroit. Sacramento Kings money line. Lakers -4.0. Miami Heat -4.5. Over 220.5 in the Spurs versus Philly. Over 221 in the Cavs versus Dallas. Boston +5.5. Clippers -5 and under 226.5 in that game. Those plays will be posted on my Twitter. You can go ahead and follow me at 514 Mystic. Link is in the description. And starting next week, Monday, look out for me on bookiebullies.com. I'll be giving out free plays, the real free plays. These free plays, obviously you're not going to bet on all of them. I'm giving you guys 10 plays. You're not going to parlay 10 plays. Go and check me out on bookiebullies.com starting Monday. You guys are going to see plays where I'm going to be posting free plays. And not just me. Everybody who works down at Bookie Bullies, we're all going to be posting free plays, one of each. Sometimes they're gonna be similar. Sometimes, we're gonna butt head. Sometimes we go against each other. But we're gonna be posting free plays every day. So look out for that. And also, we're gonna be posting a lot of highlights and stuff like that. Just go ahead and check us out at bookiebullies.com, and you're gonna see a lot of different things. Got some treats for you and in the near future. So anyways, like I'll tell you all the time, best of luck to all, and please don't bet what you can't afford to lose. This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. We're not trying to get rich overnight. If you're trying to get rich overnight, I can't help you. All I could do is give you some high paying, high odds, live plays, which are extremely high risk, but high reward. But apart from that, we're trying to make it to June without losing all our money, trying to get a few extra bucks so we could pay some bills, maybe maybe eventually quit our job if we get to June and we make 30 grand in the season. Maybe we could quit our jobs then. But anyways, you do what you got to do and don't bet what you can't afford to lose. So please be safe, be good, and I'll see you again on Monday.